Hey viewers, welcome to another game of the Casual Pro Gamer. Today we're doing game number 3 between MVPDream as the Terran in the bottom right corner and SKTParting as the Protoss in the bottom left corner. Anyhow, we're going to see the game number 3 as I said, and if you haven't seen the other two, you might want to go check them out because I'm going to spoil them in 3, 2, 1. Right now! Yeah, it is 1 versus 1 in the, well, current state. So basically we are back to a best of 3 now. And that means that this game is going to be really important because the winner of this one is going to be 1 game away from the finals. Which means, yeah, that it's going to be very close in the next game. Yeah, the next game has to be won by the loser of this one, and that is all kind of obvious. So yeah, we see a supply depot coming up. The barracks is going to get next to it, and then another supply depot, and that will wall it off. Here, of course, we will not have a wall off. We will just have a gateway in the middle of nowhere. Cybernetic score will either be next to it or with the next pylon, depending on what he's going for. And he's going out with a scout. The scout will not get in because this next supply depot will be up in time to prevent that, because that's what this guy is coming to do. Yeah, there he goes. So yeah, he's been doing that all game, every game. Yeah, the wall off for the scout is really important if you're trying to keep your attack a secret, and it has nothing to do with being sneaky, so with doing things in your base. It has to do with the fact that you might be doing something in your base. And as you can see, 46 HP on that supply depot. That should be enough to, yeah, make sure that he can keep that alive. The SCV coming in just in time to repair that, and the probe is not going to be able to do anything. It has to fall back, which means that it has, the Protoss player has no clue what's going on. Well, the Terran player can just scout around in the base, sees that the cybernetic score is coming up, and of course that is all kind of standard, but you might want to check that anyway, because who knows, maybe he's going for a 4-gate rush. So he can actually build 4 warp gates and just go all zealots on you, or well, do the cybernetic score and then build 3 other gates or something like that. Yeah, you never know, so you might, or you want to check that always, and that's exactly why the wall off here was built, to not allow that scout, because, well, as soon as someone sees what you're doing, then of course it becomes a bigger problem. As you can see, only the wall off was scouted, not the new expansion, so on the other side everything is scouted, so that is a big advantage for our Terran player. Although, yeah, it is not a game-winning advantage, of course, because that would be silly. Anyhow, next is coming up, a new pylon here on the ramp. It can be used to warp in new units, but it's probably going to be used for nothing at all, just to scout a little bit. Anyway, the pylons can be thrown out wherever you want. They're not really expensive. They're normally used to warp in new units, or to just scout for drops, because incoming drops can be really hard to deal with. As you can see, the SCV actually got out alive, and the Stalker is not really done with that yet. The Stalker is going to fall back to make sure that it will catch. It's going to fall back to this tower. No, okay, it's running all the way back. To make sure that there is no more scouting in the base, and that of course is an important thing. Also checking for some proxies. Proxies are buildings in close proximity to your building, to your base, sorry. And that means that, for example, well, it is factory close to your base, or starport close to your base, would result in a very dangerous situation for you, because yeah, as you might imagine, if you have a starport close to your base and someone is building banshees like right here, and he can fly them in over here, you will not be able to react to that very quickly, or quickly enough, and you will have no chance to actually scout that, and yeah, that of course would suck balls. So anyhow, we are going for a third command center here. Well, it's already up. You might have already seen it. But yeah, the third command center is just here to provide some extra SCVs for now. But it is going to fly over to either this base or this base, depending on what he feels like. Maybe even this base, but this base would be very dangerous. I'm guessing this base. It is the easiest to defend with only a very small, well, ramp or, well, entrance. Choke point, whatever. You can use it for whatever. Yeah, so it is really important to keep that in mind, that if you expand, you need to defend it. So every time you expand, so the first time your first base only has this as a defense point, so you only need to wall off this. Then your second base or your expansion gains this point and this point instead of that 1 point. So basically it creates an extra ramp. Let's say this was your original ramp. It's a little bit bigger than your original, but then you get this big ramp to cover in addition to that. So that's the price you pay for that expansion. But then you offer up this ramp for this, and that becomes about the same. So although this is further away from this point than this is, so the defense will be harder, but the amount of ground you need to cover is kind of equal. Yeah, well, that being said, we see a little bit of a wall off going off. Make sure that people need to walk around, or not people, units need to walk around all of this to get into the base. So if they come in here, they cannot simply walk up the ramp. They will have to run all the way around, and that makes for a little bit easier defense. Salvage on the bunker, because it is no longer necessary. And here goes the third base. On the Protoss side, we see the third Nexus coming up as well. But of course, because that SCV production was up way longer, the Orbital Command is just going to land full health and, well, with a number of SCVs already on it. And I really can't wait for Heart of the Storm, man. Because then I can just watch the replay here, and it says how many SCVs there are on each base. So there need to be 24 for perfect mining, and I think this is about 24. I can't really see this. It is 24. No, this is 24. Hang on. No, this is 22. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It will say that in Heart of the Swarm, so I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I can't really go there yet because the replays aren't Heart of the Swarm yet. They will be once it comes out, of course. There are a lot of beta games already out, but yeah, I'm not one of those commentators that actually gets to do that. That gets to well, play with the beta key. But yeah, that's fine. I don't really need it. I am getting Heart of the Swarm as soon as it comes out. I have pre-ordered it, so it'll all be good. Anyway, we are going to go in with a little bit of an army here. Only Marines really. Only one Marauder. And there it is. Only one Marauder in this this composition, and the rest is all Marines, which means that the Marines will do very well against. Yeah, obviously the sentries. Everyone does well against the sentries, but also against the zealots. The Marauders do not do well versus the zealots. The Marauders do very well against armored units, and there currently are no armored units. This is a psionic unit and a massive unit, but not armored. So no Marauders, only, well, 2 Marauders now, but mostly Marines. And oh, did not catch anyone there. That is unfortunate. The scan goes down and he actually finds the observer. Observers are really expensive for what they do. They cost like 100 gas, which is a whole lot. And yeah, they're really expensive for what they do, but if they don't get detected, obviously they can do very nicely. So the Nexus under, or the base under a little bit of pressure here. But it's just pylons going up, making sure that the Marines cannot just walk into the base. But since Marines and Marauders are ranged, yeah, they don't really care too much about walling or about the wall off. There are 2 ghosts in here. I'm assuming they have EMP. Yeah, they have EMP. And EMP, of course, removes the shield and the energy from Protoss units. From other units, it just removes energy. But because of the shields, the shield removal, they work really well against Archons. And he did see the 2 Archons coming up. Plus, if there are Archons, there are High Templar. And High Templar, of course, have energy and shields. So they can get, well, insta-gipped if you just deny their storms. Or in this case, the feedback. Then they should do really well. So the Morphin Archon might actually go down. Yes, it does go down. It goes down instantly. Didn't have a chance to do anything else except for some feedback. And yeah, the feedback, of course, yeah, it sucks on your medevacts, but it's not too big of a deal. I don't know which. Oh, he got the ghosts. Oh, yeah, I thought he had units, but I was wondering which units have actual energy on them. But of course the ghosts have energy on them. So yeah, he did do that very nicely. Actually managed to pick off the ghosts really nicely, and that is going to cost the Terran player quite a big well, amount of resources. But look at this, he went invisible with his ghosts. And of course, invisible ghosts are really hard to get rid of because he doesn't have that observer. It is up now. In fact, 2 observers are up now. And are they going to be able to pick off the ghosts? Well, the ghosts are out of energy, so yeah, it's pretty easy to pick them off then. But if he just scans once, he's going to get 2 observers, and that is a big price to get. As I said, observers are pretty expensive. So also getting rid of observers is pretty expensive because you do have to scan for them. And here you go, 1, 2, yes, he picks up both of them, which means that the ghosts that are coming in can now go invisible again. And yeah, they're not going to, because they're good enough if they're not invisible. Yeah, they did, some of them did go invisible now. And that means that with no observers here, it's going to be really hard to pick that off. But a large army still left on the Protoss player, and the Protoss player just, yeah, darting forwards and backwards, trying to pick off those ghosts, because the ghosts are really the main part of the army here. The Marines are just there for moral support and a little bit of additional firepower, but it's all ghosts here. Ghosts, 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 man. 2 ghosts in production, 4 Marines. But the ghosts, yeah, even though they're more expensive, they can do very, very well, especially against the Archons. As I said, EMP rounds take away 100, or do 100 damage to shields. And these guys have 350 shields. So yeah, it takes quite a while to take that down. But if you do 100 damage to shields, yeah, that is just an enormous amount. In StarCraft's Brood War, it would actually take out the entire shield. So even on Archons, it means Archons will have 10 HP after you nuke them. And yeah, that really sucked. That's why they nerfed that. And yeah, it works. It still works really well, but it's not, well, a full solution anymore. It used to be like super good. Now it's just good. And both of these guys have 10 HP currently. Yeah, both of them get taken out. And that is where the ghosts came in. The ghosts are still invisible. They, yeah, they are going to escape no problem if they want to. But they don't want to yet. They're going to take some damage from the storms. But yeah, they're going to also do a whole lot of damage without any counterattacking possible. Because there is no observer. And without an observer, these ghosts are going to just wreck faces, because there is nothing that the enemy can do about it. And the GG comes out from the Protoss player. The ghost just too powerful. And he had some extra bases up, so he was building this base, this fort base, and yeah, this base was going to go down, so that means he's 2 bases over the Protoss player. And just sniping those observers was so strong that it really didn't matter what else happened. Very nicely played. I've never seen so many ghosts in a game, I have to say. But they worked out really well. As you can see, the sniper round, 50 versus psionic units. That's the Archons and maybe the High Templar even. But yeah, that's also a very powerful thing to use. And otherwise it does 25 damage over a huge range. And that is also a big deal because normally, yeah, as you can see, they do 12 damage to non-light units. Of course, to light units like the Zealots, they do 24 damage, which is a big amount. And that is why he chose them. The Ghosts were just perfect against this unit composition, with a few Marauders in there to deal with, well, the damage, as well as to deal with the armored units, of course, because they do double damage to armored units. All in all, very nicely played. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. GG!